Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Alysa with us today. Hi, Alysa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
So, Alysa, kind of going to go in a weird direction with you today because I want to talk about hiring people. I think back to my days working in corporations, and I hired people off of my gut. We had joked before the show. You know me a little bit. I'm super high maintenance to work with. I just am. And I would look for someone that I knew could handle that, could handle me just throwing half sentences at them, just working fast, doing everything fast. But if you were to compare why I hired one person over the other, I would have no documentation besides Alysa just felt right. Probably can't get away with that in today's world, right?
No, Kevin. I mean, you can in the sense of the fact that if you can document why this person was more qualified, right? But you mentioned that you didn't have any documentation to support it.
Yeah.
So why that's a problem is because there's discrimination lawsuits, right? So if somebody does not get the job and then they find out that they were equally as qualified as the person who did get the job, that company could then be sued, and it comes back on us to say, okay, why did you choose the person you did over this person? Because we have to then prove that we are not discriminating against anybody. So that's where that discrimination really is important, because we have to be able to prove why we made the decision that we did.
So should we use a common set of questions? Because that was another thing, I'd ask you a question, you'd say something, and I'd go off on a tangent about it. Hey, let's talk more about that. But I may have never mentioned that topic with the other candidates. That bad?
No, it's not bad. I mean, I don't think you have to have the same exact interview questions. Each person's experience is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to have to go down different roads potentially. But what you mentioned something about you only speak in half sentences and, you're high maintenance. And so, the things about you that you need a person to compliment. So you should be asking them questions that then help understand if they can compliment you. And what I mean by that is, if you know that, hey, I'm somebody that, if you say to the person that you're interviewing, right, I'm somebody that doesn't often finish a thought, but I need you to sort of take what I said and run with it, right? Have you ever been in that scenario before? Or how would you feel comfortable being in that scenario? And how would you handle that? Right. And then you're going to get the answers that you need to understand if that person is the right fit. But ultimately, Kevin, you should be making a decision based on the criteria that you've outlined in the job description. So there should be some questions related to how they can perform certain assets or certain functions of the role. And so that's what you should be lining their criteria up against. And when you make your decision of, no, I'm not selecting this person, it's no because. I always said that to the hiring manager, no because, right? And that because is what we're using to say we did not discriminate against this person.
So if I'm no because, I have to make sure the person I hired does have that skill. If I eliminated you for not having it, right?
Right. Or if both of them have the skill, that the person you hired has it in more years or whatever it is that sort of sets them aside. Because what often happens, Kevin, is that we have an unconscious or a subconscious bias, right? So oftentimes people will choose to hire people that look like them or act like them or etc. Right. And so that's where we fall into this dilemma of, if we're saying, okay, I'm hiring this person because it feels right in my gut, but does it feel right because they look like you?
Sometimes the answer to that question is absolutely yes and stuff. Now, do you have any advice on documenting the decision? Because obviously, if something does happen, the documentation is what's going to save me, right?
Exactly. So when you are interviewing candidates, there's a way to do that documentation that's effective. So don't put in everything, right? Sometimes candidates will disclose something to you that's medical or that you shouldn't know, right? So don't include that in your notes, because then that opens us up for more discrimination, right? So your note should be very specific. The job requires 2 years of experience in customer service. They have 2 years of experience in customer service, right? You're almost like checking that box.
Yep.
And so notating the things that they do have that are related to the role and the things that are missing that the role requires, and then using those as your note. So it's no because they are missing this major function of the role, right? But it's not no because they told me that they have, a medical condition, or it's not no because I didn't have the right gut feeling, right? It's no because They didn't have 2 years of customer service experience. They only had 1. Right. And so then you're using that job posting that you helped to create as a guidepost for making the decisions and then disqualifying accordingly.
That makes perfect sense. So, Alysa, what's the best way to reach out to you if people have questions about this?
My name is kind of long and hard to spell. So if you just visit apeoplepartnerllc.com, you'll get my email address and my phone number, and also be able to connect me on LinkedIn and Facebook. So certainly do that. And I have a podcast and newsletter that came out recently where you can sign up as well.
Awesome. Alysa, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you.